guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make the best, the best homemade old-fashioned country style chicken noodle soup. So here is the star of our show. I just finished giving him a bath with cold water, salt, and vinegar. So he is nice and clean and ready to go in the pot. And I'll be using a large stock pot for this recipe because I'm going to be making a lot of broth. So first you will need store-bought chicken broth. Now y'all know I'm just playing. How we gonna make a homemade chicken noodle soup with store-bought chicken broth? We're gonna take our time and do this right, just like Bernice and Elizabeth did back in the day. So here I have my bowl of fresh vegetables that are already roughly chopped up and cut. And I just dumped them into my stock pot. When I was little, I spent most of my summers in the country with my grandparents. They didn't have much and they worked hard to make ends meet. But one thing's for sure, their homes were filled with love. And I have fond memories of chasing the chickens and playing with the animals. And I hold those memories close to my heart. Alright, so I filled my pot with cold water all the way up to about 2 to 3 inches above my chicken. And then I added some salt and pepper. Now this is how you start a chicken broth. And this is how my grandmothers took care of their family when they caught a cold or the flu. They didn't always have money to go to a doctor, so they had to do what they had to do. So I'm going to bring my chicken broth to a boil and then turn the fire down, cover the pot with the lid, and let it simmer for an hour and a half. The great thing about this soup is you don't have to wait until you're sick to make it. You can enjoy it while you're healthy, and it'll strengthen your immune system. Or you can even freeze some of this broth, so if you do get sick, you can just take it out the freezer and you don't have to worry about making it from scratch. But while this was cooking, y'all, the aroma was just filling my home and taking me back to about 40 years when I was a little girl in Bernice and Elizabeth's kitchen. It always amazes me how a scent can just take you back to a special place and time. So after 90 minutes, my chicken is just going to be falling off the bone, which is what I want. So I'm going to take the chicken out, shred it off the bone, and set it aside. And for the sake of time, I did this part off camera. So I ended up transferring my broth to a smaller stock pot because the other one was just too big. Now here's what makes our soup old-fashioned and country. You know that chicken you shredded off the bone? Don't you dare throw those bones away. Put those bones back into your stock pot because those bones contain some amazing healing properties. They are a great source for amino acids. They help support immune function. They help support joint health. So when you have a cold or the flu and those joints are aching all over your body, these bones are going to help with that. So you want to let those bones simmer in that broth for another 60 to 90 minutes so they can release all those magical properties. So while the bones are doing their thing, you can use that time to chop up your veggies that are going to be going into your soup. Now the veggies we use to make our broth, those are going to be discarded. So it didn't matter how we chop those up. But the ones that are going to our soup, we want to chop those up into smaller pieces. So I did that off camera, and here's what they look like. So I'm going to saute those vegetables in this skillet with some olive oil. Psych! We don't use no olive oil in country cooking. Get that health out of here. We use butter. And we're going to let those cook on medium heat for about 10 to 15 minutes until they are translucent and somewhat tender. Okay, my veggies have been sauteing in this butter for about 15 minutes. They are not too soft and not too crunchy. They are just right and they are ready to go in my pot. So after my bones finished simmering, I removed them by straining them into a smaller pot. And I did this for 2 reasons. One, after I finished straining the broth, I had a whole lot of it, so I took about half of it and I put it into a freezer safe container, and that'll last for about 2 to 3 months. So the next time I need to make some chicken noodle soup, my broth will already be ready. And 2, straining the broth cleans it up a bit and removes all that excess fat and foam that forms at the top. So I'm adding my veggies, and then I'll give them a quick stir so they can get used to their new environment. And I know I shouldn't be using this metal spoon in this non-stick pot, but don't worry, I'm not scraping the bottom. Next, I'm going to add my additional seasonings, and I mixed them all together in this bowl. And this is going to give my soup so much flavor. And then I'm going to mix it all up with my wooden spoon, just in case my hubby is watching, because he'd have a fit if he saw me using that metal spoon. And I'm also going to add 2 bay leaves to my soup for even more flavor. But please don't forget to remove them before you serve your soup. And finally, I can add my shredded chicken to the soup. And I'm going to let that cook for about 15 minutes. And for the last step, I'm going to add my egg noodles. And I'm going to let those cook for about 7 minutes. And then voila, my soup is done. So I added some parsley flakes just to dress it up a little bit more, but you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. Now I know this took a long time to prepare, but again, I think about my grandmothers. They didn't use any shortcuts when preparing their food. And look at the final results. This soup is rich with flavor and filled with chicken. I think Elizabeth and Bernice would be proud. So I put a serving in a bowl, and oh my goodness, y'all, the aroma is divine. But in order for it to be 100% country, it needs just one more thing. And there it is. But please don't tell Bernice and Elizabeth that I cheated and made the biscuits from the can. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you like videos like this and you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe and then click that notification bell so you don't miss another one of my uploads. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.